Hello everyone, my name is Yasemin and this is Compose Bitch with Class. If you're wondering how this started, how this came to life, I filmed the first episode of this a million years ago and it's on my YouTube and you can watch that and see I'm using like the little microphones in that, but now I have a legit microphone, which means I'm professional. My notes fell down. Guys, I'm so prepared for this. I'm so prepared. I filmed this episode like 6 times, 7th time's the charm, and I even have my notes here for you. Think of this as a friend that you can come to for advice in this crazy world. And I don't like to sugarcoat things. I don't see myself as an aggressive, brutally honest person that much. However, I am honest and I don't like to sugarcoat, so you will be getting the honest truth from me. And I'm aware that some people are not gonna vibe with that, and I'm aware that some people are gonna disagree with things that I say, and I welcome all disagreements. I'm not here trying to lecture anybody. The way that I'm going to give this advice, or the way that I'm gonna share what I have learned, is how I would explain it to my younger self. I am currently talking to like 15-year-old Yase, okay? And that's actually a great segue to what we're actually going to talk about today. Today, we're going to talk about confidence. It doesn't matter who you are in this world. Confidence is one of the most important things ever, and it is a skill that you can learn and you can cultivate. Your confidence changes who you spend time with. It's going to change the environments that you put yourself in. It's going to change how you hold yourself. It's going to change the decisions you make. I'm assuming we've all had moments in our lives, I for sure have, where my confidence was not where it could have been, and I made so many decisions that right now I would have made very differently and put myself in not the best situations at times and feeling lost, especially at this age. I'm early 20s, but I think this happens like late teens, early 20s, and it can happen at any point in life where you just feel so lost and you feel like you don't have this specific purpose and you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, and maybe the thing that you wanted didn't work out, or maybe you're like succeeding in something but it's not what you want and you don't feel fulfilled by it. I think all of that affects your confidence, and it's tied to your confidence, because confidence is made out of 3 main things: a strong sense of self, self-love, and self-respect. I'm aware that these are all very similar to each other. However, if you can't understand even one of these 3 things, you're not going to be able to do the other 2 at their best. There's a lot more depth to confidence than like leading with your chest and pretending to love yourself. That's just not what it is. Honestly, I think the media has fed you a lie. The way confidence is talked about in the media is so wrong, in my opinion. So I would like to start out by debunking all of that. First of all, this advice of fake it till you make it. I'm sure that I've even given this bullshit advice to people before. Fake it till you make it doesn't work, because one of the biggest keys to confidence is having a strong sense of self. And there's no faking it that comes with having a strong sense of self. Fake it till you make it is performative, and I think the only people that you're going to be fooling with fake it till you make it are other people that are also not confident. I had this one acting teacher who would tell us, you think you're in control of how everybody perceives you. You think you're hiding everything you want to hide, but everyone can see right through you. And she'd look us dead in the eye and be like, everyone can see right through you. Everything you're trying to present and trying to hide and trying to pretend and trying to fake, we can all see it. And she said this because she was trying to teach us and encourage us to be our most authentic selves and be satisfied with being our most authentic selves, and to see that the most magnetic thing you can do on stage and in real life, for that matter, to have people's eyes glued to you, is to be your most authentic self. And how minimal that is. You don't have to perform, because who you are is different from who everybody else is, and not everybody is gonna like that, and that's a good thing. I've kind of gotten in right now to strong sense of character. So this all ties to having a strong sense of character. What do I mean by a strong sense of character? I mean that you have your own set of values and your own set of morals, basically certain things that you stand by. And listen, life is a draft, okay? Your life right now is a draft. Everything you believe right now is a draft. Something can happen tomorrow and you can change all your opinions on it. You are allowed to change. Let's start there, okay? because I'm going to start talking about how to decide the person that you want to be. And I think it's very important to remember in all this that you're not making a permanent decision for the rest of your life. You are making a decision based on who you are right now and who you want to be in the future. Side note, stay tuned, because in the end, I'm going to have like a little segment where I give you a bunch of tools and things that I use that were super easy that helped me figure all of this out for myself. So your values are essentially what you stand for and what you think are very, very important. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about this value is good, this value is bad. I'm not going to tell you what your values should be. That's your business. The point is, when you have values that you believe in that are very true to who you are and the person that you want to be, what is wrong for you and what is right for you becomes so clear. I'm going to give you guys an example from my brother who has some very, very clear values. One of his biggest values is honesty. And I would even go as far as to say brutal honesty. And if he's hanging out with a group of friends and he has to train the next morning, and he originally was gonna like have a sleepover or hang out with them until really late or something like that, if he is not enjoying himself enough and he doesn't think it's worth it to be there because he has to train tomorrow and he wants to be well rested, he will literally say, this is boring and I don't want to be here. This is cool, but I'm going to go to bed because my training is more important than hanging out with you guys right now. And listen, and you can disagree with that or agree with that, but his value is brutal honesty. He is sticking up for himself and he is standing by what he believes to be the right thing when he makes that decision. If his value is honesty and he in that moment abandons his value and goes, guys, I have this thing that I forgot about, I actually have to leave earlier, he's gonna go home and he's gonna feel horrible about himself because he's gonna see himself as a liar and he's gonna see himself as a traitor to his own thoughts, beliefs, character. And that is the difference of knowing what your values are and honoring them versus not knowing what your values are, and therefore having a much harder time making specific choices in life because you don't know what to make them based off of. And when you don't have values is when it gets very easy to start being swayed by what other people say and to listen and believe in what other people say just for the sake of being part of a group or just for the sake of being accepted. And that is what I like to call, no offense, people with no character. You know those people where like you can put them anywhere and they're just gonna like turn into the people that are around them and you can't really describe that person. You're like, yeah, they're nice, but there's no other characteristic because they just do whatever they're told, or they just do whatever other people around them do or tell them to do or push them to do. That is what we don't want. I think we do end up attracting people with similar values to ourselves. So it's normal that you end up being in a group where you guys share similar values and you do similar things and you ask each other for advice, but that should be a conscious thing that you're doing. It shouldn't be based on like, I don't know what to do, so I'll just listen to what these people do, or I'll just copy what these people do. Why? You are so special. You have to realize your worth. You are so special. You are the only person that has your brain, your thoughts, your life, your experiences, your appearance. You are the only person in the world. You are lucky enough to be the only person. And if you are copying other people, you're a less authentic version of them. And you're losing the essence of what makes you special. Don't be afraid, or that's not good advice. I would say, even if you're afraid, dare to disagree. My brother has a strong character. He is brutally honest and he has a lot of integrity. Those are, I would say, from knowing him my whole life, his main values. I know that some people can't handle that. Some people, that's just too much for them. He is a lot, he's intense, but the people who like him for that respect him so much for that, and they will go and they will ask him advice because they know that he stands for quote unquote what's right. And you may disagree with that, and that's fine, that's allowed, but it's more important that he has a character and that he finds people that like that character of his rather than him just being neutral to everything, not having real thoughts and opinions, and just molding into any situation that he's in. And I want to say, if you're unsure of what your values are, and when I say like figure out your values, I mean like literally write them on a paper, and I would say find 3 to 5 that are your main ones. Of course, you're going to have more that you care about, but limiting it to 3 means that you have to find the ones that are the most important to you. And the reason why I'm saying write these down is because the next time you make a decision in your life, you're going to look at those values and you're going to say, do these align with my values? And if they do, you say yes. And if they don't, you say no. How do you decide your values? Great question, everybody. Let me tell you. So there's different ways you could do this. One of them is when you close your eyes and you think of the person that you want to be and you think of the life you want to live and the people around you, what is that person's highest values? Does this person care about integrity? Does this person care about honesty? Does this person care about love? Does this person care about authenticity? Does this person care about excellence, family, hard work? What are the things that you are the most passionate about? And what are the things that make you you? Or what are the things that make this person this person? I think picking your values based on your future self, like someone that you would like to be, gives you something to aspire to and to work towards, rather than based on what you're doing now, because you might be doing things now that maybe don't feel very good. And when you start noticing what your values are, you're going to start understanding why certain things don't feel good. You'll start noticing like, oh, that's why I didn't like working with this person, because they go against my values completely. And once I know that, I can make the decision, okay, I know that this person does not value curiosity, does not value authenticity, does not value bravery. I know these things. I'm probably going to get frustrated when I'm working with this person because we just function so differently. I now have the choice. Is it worth it for me to work with this person and have these feelings? Can I put this aside and continue working? Or is it absolutely not, like I don't want to work with that person? Again, there's no right or wrong, but you get to make that educated decision. You have the knowledge to be able to make a better decision. And if you're thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know what I want to be, I don't know where I want to live. If you don't know that, which so valid, you're not meant to know your whole life. Life happens and your opinions change and your wants change. But on that note, I would say, and this might sound a little bit morbid to some of you. I'm actually going to give this example for myself because it is a little bit morbid. When I think of my values, I think, this is me personally, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow and I died at the ripe age of 22, what kind of person would I have to be today for me to have been able to look back and say, I am satisfied with who I was? That's a lot to process for some people. I want to say, while all the goals that you set for your life are so important and you should put so much work into getting those things because you deserve it and you are capable of everything that you want to do, I think it's important to know those material things or those actually attainable things are not the things that are ultimately going to make you satisfied with yourself. You should always strive to do great things and reach those goals that you set for yourself. But what makes you you is not getting that award or getting that salary one day. If everything ended today, what kind of person would you have to be? For me personally, I would have hoped that I made sure that the people that I love around me felt loved by me, that they felt cared for by me, that I was always the best friend I could have been to those people. And my version of best friend is I was honest and I was curious and I was brave enough to tell them my real opinions on things. Live your life in a way that makes you proud of yourself. What kind of person would you have to be to every night when you go to bed be so proud and satisfied with yourself and say, you did so well today. I took care of myself. I stuck by what I believe. This person tried to do this and I spoke up for myself. Live your life in a way that every night when you put your head on that pillow, you are proud of yourself. And you see how this is starting to connect to confidence and how you can't fake it. A big part of confidence is knowing who you are. And knowing who you are is going to help you be very specific with what decisions you make, what you choose to do and what you choose not to do, what you choose to stand by and what you choose not to stand by. Having that backbone gives you character. Having those values and being able to stick to them, that's what's going to make you feel good about yourself. Because I personally believe everybody knows if they're a good person or not. I think even if you're a mean person and you have every excuse to be mean and you convince yourself that it's okay and you can do it because I don't know what, I think deep down we all know ourselves, and you can't love yourself if you are not acting in a way that you are proud of. You can't love yourself if you're acting in a way where you wouldn't be able to defend yourself to people, if you wouldn't be proud of everybody seeing the way you're acting, if you're shady and slimy, you deep down know that. It doesn't matter how much you try to justify it to yourself. And if you know that about yourself, you're not going to like yourself and you're not going to be confident. If I think I'm a slimy, mean person, I'm not going to like myself. So I owe it to myself to be a good person to other people, to act in a way where I'm proud of, because that is how I am going to have respect for myself and love for myself. Okay, so that's part one. So part one, values, knowing yourself. And I'm going to explain to you guys how all of this connects and how all of this ties into confidence, but it's knowing who you are, having certain morals and values and sticking by them. Now, talking about sticking by them, let's move on to self-respect. Self-respect to me is acting on all the things that we just talked about. It's acting on these values and it's taking care of yourself and putting yourself first. Now, social media loves to say that if you look in the mirror and you go, I am powerful, I'm strong, I'm kind, I'm brave, suddenly you become all those things. I'm so sorry, my love. That is not how confidence works. You can look in the mirror and lie to yourself as many times as you want. All that's going to happen is that you're going to feel like a fraud for lying to yourself, and it's not going to feel good. The only way that something like that is going to feel good is if there are clear actions that you are taking to prove that to yourself. The same way, if someone comes to you and says, I'm a great person and I'm a very honest person, you'd be like, okay, like, why are you saying that to me? Like, it's weird. You wouldn't trust someone because they're telling you who they are. You trust someone based on how they act. If someone's telling me that they always want to be my friend and then they're talking shit about me behind my back, what they're saying doesn't mean anything to me. If someone's saying that they want to be my very good friend and they're treating me with kindness and respect and love, yes, then I'll believe what they're saying. Do you get what I'm saying here? Looking into the mirror and lying to yourself is not going to help anyone, and it's just going to make you feel worse unless you act on what you are saying. So if you look in the mirror and you say, I love myself, but you eat like shit and you don't move your body and you, I don't know, do a bunch of drugs. If you take like really poor care of yourself, you're not doing anything to prove it to yourself. If you say, I love myself, and you realize that you deserve to be nourished with good nutrients, to be hydrated, to move your body because you have that ability and you are lucky enough to have that ability and to do that for yourself. And then when you go and look in the mirror and say, I love you, I love myself, then it might help you. Okay. And honestly, I don't even know if you need to say it at that point, because just from you putting in that work, you are going to feel so good about yourself. If I tell everybody that I'm honest and I look in the mirror and say, I am an honest person, and then I go and I lie, it's not going to feel good, guys. And also, that's not going to make you confident because you're sneaky and you're a liar. For me, I have been trying to be more brave. And I'm currently taking a clown and improvisation class that makes me so uncomfortable when I'm there. But to me, that is me exercising my bravery, because I would have never taken it because I was so nervous and scared about it. But literally because I'm scared of it, I took it. I forced myself to take it, and I'm learning so many skills from it, and I am so proud. Every time I come out of that class, I'm like, I did it. I did it, and it's over, and I did it, and I'm going to do it again next week. And I'm learning so much, and I'm growing, and I'm so proud of myself because I put bravery as one of my values recently, and I'm honoring that. That makes me feel good about myself because I kept a promise that I made for myself. If somebody is always promising you something and their actions never follow what they're saying, how do you feel about that person? Not great. You're not going to trust that person. You're not going to have a lot of respect for that person. It's the same thing that happens if you do that to yourself. If you say my value is love and then you're being super hateful to everybody, that is going to feel horrible because you're lying to yourself, because you're going against something that is important to you. Do you see why I put this section after the values section? Because the fact that you have your values now makes it very clear what the actions that you need to take are. And also, like, you can define these values however way you want to define them. For me, one of the biggest things is love, and love is not just romantic love. It's that I move through life with the intention of love. When I'm filming this podcast, I'm not filming it to shame people or to get angry at people or to lecture people. I'm filming it from a place of love because I wish that I had this information when I was younger, and I wish that I had this information at times where I felt very lost. So for me, this is from a place of love. So me doing this and me explaining the things that I'm explaining the way I am and not getting angry, because I have a tendency to do that, is me exercising my value of love. It's also love of myself, like taking care of myself. I said I wanted to do this, so I'm sitting here and I'm doing it. And honestly, am I super like comfortable and like this is great, I'm a professional? Absolutely not. This is so scary to me. And I'm also exercising bravery while I'm doing this. I'm new to it. I'm kind of nervous about it. I don't know who's gonna watch this, but I'm doing it because it aligns with my values, and I'm going to push myself towards that. For me, love is also taking care of myself. Am I drinking enough water? Am I eating the right nutrients? Am I going for a walk or moving, like doing Pilates, going to the gym, whatever it is? My main value is love. So if I'm not doing that, I'm a traitor to myself, and that doesn't feel good. So self-respect is about taking accountability. And I would also like to add, I wanted to say something about being triggered. Okay, we all have our own issues, we all have our own experience, and different things are bound to at points trigger you. It could be something somebody says, it could be something somebody does, the way somebody looks at you, literally anything. It doesn't matter what the intention of that thing is. It is normal that you are going to have your own triggers, and I'm holding your hand as I'm saying this. Your responsibility to control them. It is your responsibility to figure out why that thing is so triggering to you, and to understand how to change your perspective on it. Actually, I have a real life example. Okay, so like a lot of young girls, food was a complicated subject for me in my life. Luckily, I never had any like serious eating disorders or anything like that, thank God. But there were times in my life where my weight was brought up and I was not confident enough to be able to handle it logically, and I was very hurt a lot of times. And it got to a point that I was so sensitive because I got hurt, but I became so sensitive to everything food related that once my mom was looking at a recipe to make broccoli and she said we shouldn't put the maple syrup in there. And I got so triggered. Guys, in my head, my mom was saying, you are fat and disgusting and horrible. You can never eat anything besides broccoli. Like, she wasn't saying any of that. She never once called me a name. She never once said anything hurtful on purpose. She was simply saying we shouldn't put the maple syrup in the broccoli for like some recipe. Because I was so hypersensitive, I got so offended. I was going to therapy at that phase of my life, and my therapist was like, but do you realize how she didn't say anything wrong, and you're very hypersensitive and that's okay, but you need to realize that you can't expect her to not say her opinions on the maple syrup in the sauce for the broccoli because you are offended by it. So it's your responsibility to catch that and to start developing the skill of saying, why did this bother me so much? And then objectively understand, okay, clearly I have these issues and I'm projecting them onto this, because then also you are taking power over yourself, and it's the best feeling in the world once you have exercised that skill a little bit. When I was young, I went to a doctor for allergies. Okay, allergies. Me and my brother have the worst allergies in the world, and he was looking through my nose and he took a picture of my side profile and then projected it on his screen and started editing, like literally like face tuning my face to tell me how I would look so much better. I was 19, something like that. And he like gave my nose a slope, and then he like made my lips bigger, and he made my chin a little bit like more forward. And he was explaining to me that if I got a nose job and lip filler and chin filler, I would look so much better. And as a 19-year-old girl, sensitive to my appearance at the time, I just did like my first TV show. I was so self-conscious. Some weird people told me some weird things about how I look and how I should change how I look. And him saying that and like catching me off guard with that, when I got in the car with my mom, we were like, that was so weird. But I was sobbing. I was like, I need to get lip filler, and I need to get chin filler, and I need a slope nose, or I'm never gonna be pretty and I'm never gonna get a job as a young girl. Okay, and listen, yes, that's like his problem, like he's so fucking weird for that. But as a person that didn't have a lot of confidence in that point in my life, I was destroyed by that. Okay, and today, if somebody came to me and said, you know what, you need lip filler and a nose job and some chin filler, and if you get a little filler here and filler there, then you'll be really pretty, I would say, thanks for sharing. But it wouldn't affect me to the point where I'm like questioning if I'm the ugliest person in the world because some old guy who I was there for allergies told me I needed a lip flip. And that is the difference of being able to develop confidence, to have a character, to know who you are, to be able to love yourself and respect yourself. Things kind of like bounce off of you. Because if you don't think that you're ugly and somebody says you're ugly, you're like, okay. And then you start noticing how everything everyone says is so connected to themselves. Like what somebody says so much more about them rather than you. If someone is calling you ugly, that says a lot about them, much more than it actually does about you. If somebody's calling you stupid, it says a lot more about them than it does about you. I'm able to hear it as just a comment and not as an attack. And if you do get very triggered, it is usually because it is hitting some insecurity inside of you. And I want to conclude the self-respect portion of this by just saying, now that we have access to like everything that's happening in the news all the time, now that everything seems so much more complicated in humans' lives, I want to acknowledge how powerless it can make you feel sometimes, and how a lot of things feel like you depend on other people. But I just want to say what you want to be and what you want to do with your life and the person that you want to become is 100% up to you. And it is in your control. You have that power, and that's a beautiful thing because you get to decide exactly what kind of person you want to be and exactly what kind of people you want to attract to yourself. And that is completely under your control. Is it easy? No. But to be honest, nothing good is easy. But I want to encourage you and I want to remind you that you have the ability to do all of this for yourself. I feel like the media tries to make you feel powerless sometimes. And if you were once a bad person, or if you made bad choices, or if you were a person that maybe you weren't very proud of, you have the ability to change. And that's also the beautiful thing about life, is that you can use all of that to teach you to be the person that you want to be. You can always change, and you can choose how you want to change, and you can even choose if you even want to change. But you can, and you're not doomed to be like the same person your whole life. You are constantly evolving. You are constantly changing. That is a good thing. That is how we're meant to be. It's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. So have some grace with yourself. Know that you always did what you thought was best in the moment. So even if you did things in the past that you don't agree with or that you are not proud of, you did what you thought was best in that moment. You made a judgment call, and it is growth that you are able to look at that and say, maybe not the best choice, and maybe I would make it differently now, but use it as a tool to learn rather than hating yourself or shaming yourself for it. Which is a great transition, actually, to self-love. Now, I think self-love has become such an annoying thing online. Sometimes the way I see people describe self-love is to just not give a shit and do whatever. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to take care of yourself if you love yourself. And that's, I think, neglecting the self-respect aspect. But I'm here to tell you what makes all the self-respect and the value stuff consistent in your life is the self-love. I'm going to explain this to you guys through an example. So, oh my god, wait, I need water. Okay, so let's say I have the goal of toning up. Okay, I want to go to the gym and I want to get really fit and I want to look amazing and all of that. Okay, so the self-respect aspect of this is actually taking the action and sticking to whatever plan I've given myself based on what works for me, based on my goals, whatever. So going to the gym, I'm going to give you guys the no self-love and the self-love examples of this for us to compare. So if I'm doing this not from a place of self-love, I'm going, I look disgusting. You have to go to the gym. You look disgusting. You need to tone up. You look horrible. You look this, you look that. Being so mean to myself. I'm going as a punishment. I'm going because I hate myself. And then I come home and I'm like, no, you can't eat anything you want. You have to eat this salad and you have to eat this. That sounds like torture, right? Like doing everything from a place of self-hate. Doing things from a place of punishment. 3 days in, are you going to actually have the energy to get up and say, you disgusting piece of shit, get up and go to the gym? No, you're not going to be able to do that. That's exhausting and that's miserable, and nobody ever will want to do that. Now, let's talk about the example of self-love. If you do this from a place of, I am going to do this thing because I love myself and I deserve to be the best version of myself, and the best version of myself goes to the gym 3 times a week. I'm gonna stick to these goals because I love myself. So you go because you love yourself. I have the privilege of moving my body. I have the privilege of being able to go to a gym. I have the privilege of being able to walk and being able to lift heavy things. So I'm gonna go because I love myself. Going there, having a great workout, and then coming home. Okay, I love myself, so I'm going to nourish myself with the right food. I'm going to eat things that are going to make me feel good because I deserve to feel so good. I'm going to eat things that make me feel satisfied and that make me feel good and that are delicious. It's not, you stupid piece of shit, like eat a fucking piece of lettuce because you don't deserve to... I don't even know how to make this up. But like, how much fun is that? The idea of I get to go to the gym and I get to eat healthy, nourishing food versus I have to because I'm gross. I have to because I ate a cookie yesterday. No, if anything, I think the best way to think about it is what is going to make you feel so good. And I think instead of thinking like discipline, do it until you can't do it anymore. Maybe that works for some people. For me, that does not work. And for me, I have to do it from a place of like, I love myself. And you know what? I love the feeling after a workout. I genuinely love it. I don't think there's anyone in the world who doesn't. I love that feeling. So I'm going to go because I love myself and I love feeling good. And I'm going to go and I'm going to do that workout. And then I'm going to eat something super nourishing and healthy because yeah, sometimes I'll eat something that's not very good for me. And sometimes it's enjoyable, but also I feel so bad after, and not because I shouldn't be eating it, not because of this or that, literally because I just like feel nauseous and I have a migraine maybe sometimes if I eat too much sugar. I want to feel good and I deserve to feel good. And I'm not going to treat my body like shit because I love myself and I deserve the best. And I'm going to treat myself with respect and love and kindness. Doing everything that you're doing from a place of love rather than a place of hate is what's going to make this journey energizing. It's going to make this consistent and it's going to make it long term. If you're doing this out of hate, that's going to get exhausting really quick and you don't deserve that. You deserve to love yourself. You deserve to take care of yourself. And if you're struggling with this, because I know it's so easy to say, do it from a place of love, right? When you're not feeling good about yourself, I know you don't feel good. Some days you don't feel good about yourself. It's just, it is what it is, you know, it happens. And for days like that, my best advice is to come from a place of gratitude. Don't even try to force yourself to think, I love myself when you're really, really not feeling it. Literally, you can do this while you're walking. I do this on walks a lot and I just start thinking in my head of all the things that I'm so lucky for. And I'll literally be like, thank you God for my eyes. Thank you God for my legs. Thank you God for my arms. Thank you God for my belly. Thank you God for my hair. Thank you God for my nose. And I go through everything because I'm so lucky to have these things and not everybody has these things. Not everybody has eyes that see. Not everybody has ears that hear. Not everybody can feel emotions as deeply as I feel emotions. I'm grateful for all these things. Not everybody can walk. Not everybody can hold things. Not everybody can experience life in the same way that you can. And it's such a privilege. And to just go back to literally the most basic stuff. Like, thank you for giving me a roof over my head. Thank you for giving me people around me that I love. Thank you for my health. And you can literally go on forever. You can journal this. And I guess this is a good transition to my last part, which is all the tools that I'm going to give you. So the first one is literally journaling the things that you're grateful for. And if you want to be able to do this consistently every day, it doesn't need to be pages and pages. It can be 3 things. 3 things that you're grateful for. Before going to bed, write 3 things that you're grateful for. If you don't even want to write it, think it. But you have to do it. There's no excuse. 3 things. It can be, I'm grateful for my mom. I'm grateful for this sweater because it's really comfortable. And I'm grateful for the fact that the sun is out today. Done. That's all I'm asking you. And if you have more time and if you want to do more, do more. But 3 things at least that you're grateful for. A list of gratitude, if you will. My second note is to start counting your wins. I'm sorry that my voice is like, it sounds like I'm crying. I'm not. It's because my throat was dry. Sorry. Okay, so the second tool I'm going to give you guys is to count your wins every single night. So what this is you write down everything that every win of the day. They can be so basic, whatever you count as a win. Doesn't matter what other people would agree with, not agree with. For me, I would literally be like, I went to my clown class today. Win. Because I never want to go to that class. It's a great class, but I'm so scared of it still. So today I said no to this thing that did not align with me. I stood up for myself. And the reason why this is so useful is because I've noticed that because I got into the habit of writing down my wins every night, that when I am going through my day and I see an opportunity for a win, I take it. I start seeing those opportunities. Okay, right now I really don't want to do this thing, but if I do this, I'm gonna write about it, or I'm gonna have to write that I didn't do it, or I'm just gonna have it in my mind like I could have done it and I didn't do it. So I'm just doing things that I know I'm gonna be so proud of myself for doing at night. Oh my god, I didn't get enough done today. I'm not gonna be able to write my wins. Let me see, what can I do today to make tomorrow easier? Let me do these 3 things. Okay, you start looking for those wins in your day-to-day life. This also helped me a lot because I've noticed recently that I have the tendency to people please, and I'm doing a lot better at it. But I was in a situation where I was asked to do something that I did not want to do, and I was very honest and very open about I'm not going to do that thing. It was for a job, it was for a film, and I was put in a lot of conversations about, yeah, but if we can't do this, we might have to do it. We might have to do it. We might have to do it. My people-pleasing tendencies were pushing me to say, you know what, I'll just do it. Everyone's just complaining about this thing. Like, let's just do it then. But I remembered at night, I swear to God, this is why I think I was able to not just like sacrifice my own comfort for this, because I was like, no, because I have been very clear from the start that I didn't want to do this, and this is not my responsibility to figure out how to fix this problem. And at night, I'm going to write that I stood up for myself, even though things would be easier for other people if I just did it. But I was clear about it, and that's not my responsibility. So I was able to stick with what I believed, what I wanted for myself, and what I was honest about and clear about from the beginning. And I was able to stand by myself and defend myself and stick by myself, like take care of myself in that moment where it would have been in some ways easier to just forget all my values and just do it just so like people stop talking about it. And I didn't. And really, like, the main thing that I thought about when that was happening was, I'm going to be able to write this down at night, and I'm going to feel so bad if I don't. So I took care of myself. The last thing that I'm going to talk about, and this is connected to values, is I'm going to link a list of values that you can go through, and you can pick things that are not on this list, but you can go through them and you can start crossing them out and see which ones resonate the most with you so that you can pick your top 3. It's supposed to be top 3. I have 5. So I say 3 to 5. So that you can have your values and you can start this journey of self-confidence. Don't fake it till you make it. Actually work on yourself and actually figure out who the person that you want to be and the effect you want to have on the people around you and who you want to surround yourself with, and take the steps to achieving that, and know that you're always doing it from a place of self-love and self-respect, because you deserve the best of the best and you are fully capable of doing all of that for yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. This is my first really long video, and I hope you guys liked it. If you disagree, if you have questions, if you really liked something specific that I touched on, if you have ideas for other videos or other questions, like, please let me know. I am so open to all of it, and I really want to engage with you guys. I'm a little bit scared of putting this out there. If you've watched this far, I appreciate it so much. And I just want to say to everybody that's watching, I love you so much, and I 100% believe in you. By watching this video, you did something to work on yourself, and you did something to take care of yourself and to better yourself and to learn something new and to open yourself up to new ideas. So if no one else said it to you today, I love you so much, and you deserve the best, and you owe it to yourself to do the best you can with your life, because there's no one else like you.